Welcome back to the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. We're here at the Circuito Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. My name's Tom Brooks. Alongside me for today is Dakota Momola. We've just seen a thrilling Moto2 European Championship title decider. And this weekend, there are two titles aside. The next one, the European Talent Cup. And it goes down to two people, which we'll guide you through in a few moments' time. First, more about the event. 17 laps, 4 kilometres over this circuit. 9 left corners and 5 right. An anti-clockwise track, of course, makes it very, very interesting and a different challenge to what we're necessarily used to here in the FIM CEV Repsol. Some brilliant stuff, as we said, we've seen over the course of the year, especially in terms of the European Talent Cup. As we said, there are two titles to decide here today, and the European Talent Cup is no exception. It's Manuel Gonzales and Manuel Kawasaki, the two title protagonists. Manuel Gonzales currently leads the way on 139 points. Manuel Kawasaki is 20 points adrift on 119. It's very, very simple to work out the classification for this championship. Gonzales, of course, with that 20-point advantage, it means that Kawasaki needs to win in order to become champion. Any other result will mean Gonzales is, of course, the champion. He basically needs Kawasaki needs to win, and he needs Gonzales to not finish the race. If Kawasaki finishes second and they tie on points, Gonzales will be crowned the champion because of a greater number of better finishes. And in terms of the race, it's Francisco Gomez, who we just saw on pole position. Second one race victory so far this year as the Spaniard. Keep an eye out for him. But alongside him on the front row of the grid is this man, Manuel Kawasaki, the chap who we were just mentioning, is in second place and in with a chance of taking the title. 15 years old, 1 win, 3 podiums and 1 pole position so far this year. Now, he has had a very good season. You can see very consistent, aside from a small blip in Catalonia and a DNF in Valencia. But nonetheless, he is heading in the middle, I should say, rather, of the front row of the grid. His title rival, by start comparison, of Manuel Gonzales is heading the 3rd row of the grid. A difficult qualifying then for him there, Dako, I should say. I'll put my tongue back in and we'll start talking about it. But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting because especially this man who's in 3rd place, Andreas Perez, 14 years old he is, and has been doubling up with Moto3 and will make the step up full-time next year, as we understand. So a good signing that, because he's been quick, he's been consistent, and the Junior World Championship seems like exactly the right place for him.
Yeah, it's a great stepping stone, you know, to start off and build up your speed and you know, learn all the Spanish racetracks to move on into to Moto3 the next year. And like you said, you know, a rider like Andreas Perez, who's done incredible this year. And remember when he started at the back and, you know, nearly won that race. And actually, did he win it?
He finished second.
He's second. So it just shows you how much. And here's Barry Baltus, only 13 years of age. 13
years of age he is, and he's signed to race in Moto3 next year, believe it or not, because I believe the time that he'll be 14,
that's
so that's
the
age he can race in Moto3.
What's the age in World Championship? 16?
16, yeah.
16
years of age, unless you get special dispensation or something from the FIM. But Barry Baltus, the Belgian rider, making his first ever appearance in the European Talent Cup.
And I think he's getting help by Zelos, the group Zelos, and they actually told me he's a kid to look out for.
Here's Victor Rodriguez, another name who we haven't seen making any impression on the championship, of course. 17 years old, so a bit of an elder statesman in this field, but nonetheless, a good qualifying for Rodriguez there, lining up on the 2nd row of the grid, in the middle, in 5th position. He'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, just going back to Barry Baltus a second, as you said, Belgian rider, looks very quick, very consistent. He's been competing in RMFE CEV this year, and could be a bit of a dark horse in this race, as could this man. 6th place on the grid, Simon Jespersen on the number 43. 16 years old he is, 1 win, 2 podiums this year, 4th in the title. Looked like he could take that championship for so long, but unfortunately it's not to be his year in 2017. But you never know what might be on the cards for 2018 with these guys. The crowds, though, watching on, they're all ready to get this race underway, as are we here in the commentary box as well. As we said, a 17-lap race for the European Talent Cup riders. The grid, though, this is how they line up. It is Francisco Gomez, Manuel Kawasaki and Andreas Perez on the front row. Barry Baltus, Victor Rodriguez and Simon Jespersen on row 2. Manuel Gonzalez, the championship leader, Miguel Parra, is alongside him with Pedro Acosta, another new name to the championship here this weekend. Of course, a lot of the teams wanting to give new riders a run through for 2018, perhaps assessing them. Row 4, Johan Uvina, Andrzej Vostatek, Alejandro Diez, the winner last time out. Pietro Pevalainen, Victor Alonso, Alex Toledo on row 5. Max Cook, a new name, more on him in a moment. Beatriz Nila and Luis Verdugo. Adrian Fernandez, Iker Garcia and JB Davis on row 7. Javier Artigas, Vincent Falcone, who's signed for the Realia Vintia team for next year. Aurel Naivalake in row 8. Row 9, Matthew Gregorio, Stefano Cristin and Angel Martinez. Row 10, Colin Feldhazen, Daijiro Sacco, Lucas Venderborn, Charlie Atkins, Philip Rihashek, Jack Hart on row 11, Iker Barrio, then Kiko Martino and Jose Suarez are on row number 12. That concludes the 36 rider strong grid. I'll take a quick breath there and just see what's going on. As we said, Max Cook, he is the British Standard Moto Star Champion of 2017, making his first ever appearance in the European Talent Cup on board a bike he is very familiar with because they race similar machines in the British Championship. Not quite to the same spec that they do here, we should state, but nonetheless, good to see another British rider, likewise with Charlie Atkins also on the grid. So 20 points separates these two in the title Dakko. Gonzalez versus Kawakami. It's very much Gonzalez's championship to lose, as we saw with Granado in Moto2. But who's your money on?
The problem is this is a really similar situation that we had last week with, you know, Mark and Dobie. Basically, you know, Kawakami needs to win no matter what. So that's already a hard base to start off, and he really needs to focus on having a good start, get out clean, and Gonzalez too. And it's the first 2 laps that are a little bit worrying around here. And if you can get through that, then you know all Kawakami can do is try his best and win. And you know, and Gonzalez needs to fail, but my money's going to be on Gonzalez.
Well, we did see Gonzalez crash here, let's not forget, earlier in the season. It wasn't a particularly nice crash either. At turn number 2, it was a low side, so better than a high side. However, it was still not a perfect way to go about his title charge, shall we say. He's a bit further down the order than we would have liked, as he said, heading row number 3, so he's got some ground to make up from 7th on the grid. It'll be interesting to see whether he can do it. Francisco Gomez, though, fresh off of that fresh off that win, rather, I should say. Now, Albacete, he didn't win last time out, of course, Francisco Gomez, but he has won this season, so keep an eye out for him in this race. But anything can happen in the European Talent Cup. It's very unpredictable, all on identical motorcycles, and in 17 laps time we will crown the debut champion of this championship. So wait for the green flag to be waved at the back, and then wait for the red flag to be moved away. Look to the top left corner of your screen, and 17 laps of European Talent Cup will be underway when those red lights go out. They're on now, they get ready to go out, and we go racing. A brilliant start from the outside of the front row from Jespersen. Absolutely incredible from row number 2. Drawn the Danish rider. He looks like he's going to try and challenge for the lead down towards turn 1. It's Andreas Perez with the initial advantage. Who's going to the inside though? Kawakami's been swamped and is actually behind Gonzalez. So a disaster of a start for the Brazilian rider. Somebody's out well wide there. Was that Kawakami? Might have actually been Miguel Parra. Indeed, I think it was. But Jespersen in second place. Perez though still leading the way at the moment. Good start then from the Realia Vintia Academy rider Johan Uvina, and Barry Bouter's getting a bit too close for company into the left-hander. They came to a bit of contact there. Everybody holding on very nicely so far in the opening few corners, and very clean start from all involved. Not quite what we saw in Moto2. Let's hope they can keep that up for the rest of the lap.
Perez really pushing hard this one lap, and he's had a great start already, and you know, Jespersen right behind him. They've already created a small window to Barry in third place. So be interesting to see now how everybody starts settling out after lap 1 or 2. And but like you said, clean first lap there, Tom.
Yeah, very interesting start for a lot of riders as well. A disaster of a start for Maikon Kawakami. Unfortunately, the Brazilian rider just going absolutely backwards and is way down the order. We'll wait for the final confirmation of the first lap to be completed so we can give you a full running order as to who is lining up where at the moment. He's actually now ahead of Gonzalez by the looks of things. Yes, indeed. So Kawakami has made some grounds, but he needs to win the race, and he needs Gonzalez to not finish in the points. It's a very, very tall and a big crash at the final corner as well. Is that Francisco Gomez? It's the pole man who's gone down.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he's out of harm's way and runs off the racing line, but there's debris on the track and his bike is strewn there as well. We could see a red flag going out because of that debris, or at least double wave yellows at the final corner.
That was a big one.
That was a big crash, a disaster as well. Let's have a look and see what happens then for Gomez. Whereabouts is he in the shot? He's in the middle of the picture now, and I have to say, great job by Alex Toledo to avoid him so well. That was brilliantly done from Toledo. Instinctive reactions to get exactly out of the way. And, well, he's very lucky he didn't come into the path of any oncoming riders. It doesn't bear thinking about the...
good effort.
Yeah, really good stuff there from Gomez. But it is Perez then who leads the way after the first lap. And is that Joan Uvina who's made his way up into second place? No, it's not. I apologize. It's Victor Alonso. Victor Alonso. It's Victor Rodriguez, rather, I should say, who's made some ground. Here comes Jespersen up the inside of the Kame Mikado machine. Did he manage to make it through?
Yes, he did.
Did indeed. So turn number 9 is a good passing place, especially on these bikes. Barry Baltus is coming under some pressure from Gonzalez. Yeah, Baltus is really coming under some pressure from behind. That second row start really is helping him fight in and amongst the top group. We see so many overtakes taking place here in the European Talent Cup. It's always the case, and it's certainly proving to be exactly the same here. And Andreas Perez, though, leading the way there. Daco doing
Kawasaki there also. He's in, I think he's down into 4th place. Yeah, 4th place. Oh, somebody goes really wide there. That was Barry Baltus. So no, it's good. Good to see Perez, at the front again. And
red flag has been thrown there, Dakota, just to cut in front of you. Sorry about that. We can't quite work out why. There must be an incident that we haven't seen on screen, and indeed there has been. Dear. We can't see who that is at the moment, so we will keep you updated. We'll refuse to speculate until we know the facts about the situation. And who was that? It was Alex Diaz, so the winner from Aragon last time out. Looks like he made it to his feet okay, and then we don't see what happens after that, but he's been stretchered away from the circuit. The red flag is thrown, so we're probably going to have something like the 12-lap dash we had in Moto3 earlier on today.
See, situations like that, they shouldn't, in my opinion, they shouldn't be red flagged, because they could easily taken that bike out in a minute. But then again, maybe safety-wise, they can take the bike out for some reason, and always safety comes first. So yeah, like you said, now we're gonna have to, it's gonna be like a Moto3 race, restart the race. It'll probably be a quick 12-11 lap race, and but it seems like he's actually got hurt. But it was weird because he got up and started running towards the bike, so I'm not quite sure. No,
there could have been something we didn't see off camera after that, so let's not speculate until we know. Let's have a look at a replay. I think this will just be exactly what we saw. So it's a big high side there. He wasn't necessarily collected, I don't think, by anybody. He was very close to being hit. I think he might have just had his boots scraped there, and then he ran towards the bike, but we just didn't see what happened. We didn't see what happened after that. The camera just cuts away from it, so we'll give you some updates as soon as we can. But of course, as you can see, he's now heading in the ambulance back to what will be the Circuit Medical Centre. And as we said, we'll keep you updated on Alex Diaz's condition as soon as we know more. So the red flag is thrown here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo if you've just joined us, because of an incident on lap number 3 out of 17. And we wait for notice from race direction about getting the race restarted. It will be a shortened race distance, and whether they will go on the last lap countings or whether they'll go from the original grid positions. If they go on the original grid positions, Maikon Kawakami's Christmases have all come at once. If they decide not to do that and they decide to go on the lap 1 standings, then it will be all the more work to do for the title fighter in the PlayStation Leglise garage. Meanwhile, there is Andreas Perez and his crew chief just having a bit of a natter. 77 is the number he rides with, and he, of course, was leading the race up until that point. I have to say, one of the things that always staggers me every time we come here is the operation that Realia Avintia Academy run.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, they've got a really good base set up, and, them in the World Championships, too, kind of helps out. And it's kind of like the, the Tech 3 team having here the Mistral and all that. It's good to see that. And, no, they've got a really good, good base setup. Yeah, they certainly have, and they've got so many bikes out on the grid as well in Moto3, Moto2 rather, I should say, in European Talent Cup. So makes it very exciting. You can see the crowds here as well. It's so impressive as well, especially for this time of year. I mean, MotoGP was last weekend. I reckon a few of them have probably stayed on since then, been to testing.
Took a holiday.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Exactly. So, race direction. Notice, as you can see, there'll be a quick restart procedure, as of course is the norm in situations like this. So basically what that means, if you're unfamiliar with the quick restart procedure, is riders will exit pit lane, they'll go to the grid, they will have one team member with them, they'll then do a sighting lap, or warming up lap, or whatever you want to prefer to call it, and then the race will get underway proper. Pit lane will open at 13:16 local time for 60 seconds, an 11-lap sprint to the finish. It's currently 13:12 local time, so just under 4 minutes to go until pit lane opens.
And original grid positions.
So Christmas has come then for Maikon Kawakami.
Yes.
He has a second bite at the cherry. Tell you somebody you won't be too impressed with that is Manuel Gonzales. He'll be a bit
no, he'll have
disappointed.
a bit more pressure. But then again, 11 laps. He just needs to, like you said, finish, and it's his to lose.
Exactly right. Beautiful weather here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. Really is lovely outside now. Nice and well, a lot warmer than it was this morning. That's for sure.
Track temperature is actually now 26, which is like 5 degrees more than the Moto2 race. So it's really. This is probably the hottest part of the day.
Well, there is the title leader, Manuel Gonzales. Well, not him, his bike. He's not cleaning it with with a Kleenex. There, it's a mechanic doing that. But Manuel Gonzales, you can see there, just in the background of your shot, with the helmet on. Done a great job this season, and I'd really like to see what he can do in 2017. And going into 2018 as well, will he step up to Moto3? A lot of riders are doing so. Or will he do another year in the European Talent Cup? It remains to be seen.
I think nerves kick in more on younger riders than, more elderly, experienced riders. And you could actually see it in his face a bit. He was a little bit, not worried, but just nervous, and which is normal.
Comes down to experience, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And even Cal, who I work for, gets nervous, literally 5 minutes before the race on the grid. So even professionals like that still get nervous. So I can understand them.
He doesn't strike me as the sort of bloke that gets nervous. He's so calm and collected.
No, he's always got that poker face on that nobody knows.
Great sense of humour, though.
Yeah,
I think it's. I saw you.
Takes it too serious.
I was watching the World Feed back in the office the other day, and I saw, was it you holding the brolly for him, was it the umbrella for him, or something like that? Was you on the grid?
Maybe, yeah, because it was raining or something, pouring rain or something. It must have been, or sometimes I carry it when it's pouring rain, and so you don't get wet. But I end up getting wet, so I don't know.
You need 2 umbrellas.
Yeah, I need 2 of them, but no, he's. It'll be interesting to see what he can do with the new Honda next year. And being here last Tuesday and Wednesday for the test was interesting to see everybody, and ride the new bikes and see who went quick with it.
Yeah, certainly so. So the crowd's watching on, eagerly anticipating the restart of this race. An 11-lap dash to the finish in the European Talent Cup. The title will be decided over the course of about 15 minutes. That's going to be an absolutely tantalising prospect, to tell you that for nothing. So just under a minute until the pit lane opens. They'll have 60 seconds, so expect the bikes to be queuing at the end of pit lane before too long. And then, of course, they'll complete their sighting lap, go onto the grid, and as soon as that has happened, we'll get the race underway good and proper. So
30 seconds.
So you can hear the revs now rising, the bikes and riders heading out of pit lane. Thundering past our commentary position. We're actually based here in the pit lane. You don't really realise the gradient of the start-finish straight, do you, until you look at that camera angle? It really is quite off-putting.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure if these bikes are not as loud as Moto3, because they're pretty loud.
Louder than Moto2, that's for sure.
For sure.
So waiting for pit lane then to open here at the European Talent Cup. As I said, if you have just joined us, there was an incident on lap 3 involving Alex Diez, who unfortunately ended up being taken away in an ambulance. But before that was up and okay, so we're not 100% sure of the facts about the situation, so we refuse to speculate. And until we know more information. But of course, as soon as we receive anything, any notice, we will keep you as up to date as we can. So riders now exiting pit lane, getting ready to get the restart underway. Just a reminder of the grid in the European Talent Cup. It's Andreas Perez on the outside of the front row, and then Michael Kawakami on second position. And in the pole position, it's Francisco Gomez. But there's going to be a bit of interesting development there, because Francisco Gomez, of course, crashed out before. So will he be able to take his original slot on the grid? We'll wait and see. If not, there'll be a vacant spot on pole position. Row 2, in fourth place is Barry Bautas. Alongside him is Victor Rodriguez and Simon Jesperson. And row 3, the title leader, Manuel Gonzales, Miguel Parra and Pedro Acosta, the outside of row number 3. So crunch time then in the European Talent Cup. If you just watch this for the first time and you're thinking, well, why do all the bikes look the same aside from the liveries? Well, that's because it's exactly that. They are all the same. Honda NSF 250R machines, the same ones they raced in the Asia Talent Cup, the same ones they will be racing next year in the British Talent Cup. They're all identical in every single way possible. Michael Kawakami there, the man second in the championship, 20 points adrift of Manuel Gonzalez. 119 Kawakami has to Gonzalez's 139. So all to do for Kawakami in this race, but 11 laps. We know how the pressure can get to some riders, so essentially Kawakami needs Gonzalez to not score in this race, and Kawakami needs to go ahead and absolutely dominate the thing. A tall order to do, but second place on the grid is not a bad starting spot at all.
Quick start procedure, so means that they get right there, and then as soon as the mechanics get a hold of the rider, they get to get out of the way basically, and start this race as quick as possible. And here comes the. It should be an interesting start. You know, 11 laps, kind of like what we had in the Moto3 race, or 12 laps. I think 12 lap sprint, and this is always important to you know, to get your focus back on after that stop, and you know, get yourself back into the race mode, and relax. And
well, Francisco Gomez won't be making the start then. That is confirmed. So he's not on the grid. His bike isn't on the grid. And I can't say I'm surprised either. That crash at the final corner was very nasty indeed. So effective pole position then for Michael Kawakami in second place on the grid. He won't line up in pole. He'll line up in second. They don't all shuffle forward because everybody would get confused, and least of all us here in the commentary box as well. So riders then will move from their grid slots in just a few moments' time. We will get ready for this restarted race, 11 laps to get underway. So Andreas Perez, of course, the fast-starting 14-year-old, will be hoping for a similar start to the one he had in race 1. He was leading the way up until the point where the red flag was thrown. Will he be able to do the same for race number 2? Or race number 2, I should say, restart number 2.
It feels like a race number 2.
It certainly does. It's going to be an exciting off-season as well, with all the different moves and speculation as to who will be going where. We know that Barry Bautas will be lining up in Moto3 next year. We know that Vincent Falcone will be lining up with the Reale Avintia Academy team in 2018 also. So some exciting developments taking place. We don't know the whereabouts of Michael Kawakami or Manuel Gonzalez as of yet. One would imagine they would be looking at a ride in Moto3 for next year, somewhere along the line. Don't forget, of course, the How Courier Racing team also competing in World Supersport 300. So there's a potential sidestep there for, or say sidestep, I should say. It's not necessarily a sidestep, but a potential different path for Manuel Gonzalez should he wish to stay in the How Courier Racing family.
These boys are really pushing it on that warm-up lap.
Really giving it a good go, aren't they, to try and get that heat into the tyres. There he is.
They're alone, though. Just look at the gap between them.
Looking like, oh, well, we better slow up a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
So the championship standings on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see that it is Gonzalez who has the 20-point advantage over Michael Kawakami. 25 points available in this race. Don't forget, it's all for Kawakami to do. It's Gonzalez's title to lose. Final corner we go, with the championship leader on board, that number 18. A brilliant season it has been for Gonzalez this year. Absolutely incredible is how he has ridden. Just 17 years of age. He is 17 years old. Unbelievable. And he's already vying for a title. Maikon Kawakami on board at number 83. Slightly younger than him, 15 years of age. He is competing in Rebel Rookies a couple of years ago as well, but has really come on strong. Competing in Rebel Rookies this year, come to think of it also. And lines up in second place on the grid. Effective pole position. The front row missing Francisco Gomez, Kawakami and Perez on the front row of your grid. 11 laps then for the European Talent Cup. Let's get ready to go racing. Final preparations taking place on the grid. The green flag will be waved at the back in just a couple of moments' time. The red flag will be moved from the front, and then look to the top left corner of your screen as we get ready to get the European Talent Cup race underway here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. Red lights on, red lights off, and we go racing. Brilliant start once again from Kawakami and also Andres Perez, who will get the drag initially down towards the first corner. It looks like also Victor Rodriguez is making some good ground, and he has got the good advantage. Will he be able to lead into the first corner? It's getting very hairy there, very tight indeed. Let's see who's made the best start and see who's leading the way. It is Victor Rodriguez. A brilliant start there for him, and a better start there for Kawakami, Dako, as he is up into second place with Gomez getting going as well.
Yeah, he just started out of, did you see that? He started out of pit lane, so be interesting to see poor Gomez. Not a good start of the race for him.
No, certainly not. Well, Maikon Kawakami, a brilliant start for the Brazilian. Better than he had in the first restart. As is that Jesperson using track limits to the extreme? It certainly was, but he's got some company from behind. Let's not forget Kawakami there, because Gonzalez is going to be right up his rear fairing in a moment's time. Don't forget about Jesperson also in and amongst the mix as well. This is going to be an incredibly close dash to the finish. 11 laps for these guys, and let's not forget who was incredibly good in Estoril over 1 lap dashes. And that was, over short dashes in races, and that was Manuel Gonzales. Started at the back of the grid for the restart, a 5-lap race, and ended up leading it by the penultimate lap. It was incredible.
Great start from Rodriguez, and from 5th place, already leading it, and has a good start, good head start, and Kawakami just right around the outside there.
Barry Bowters as well. So 2 riders who we're not familiar to seeing at the front of the European Talent Cup this season are leading the way. It's at the moment the number 19 of Victor Rodriguez from Barry Bowters, who's signed in Moto3 next year. His teammate Andres Perez, who's also doubling with Moto3 this weekend and also will be riding in Moto3 for 2018. It's getting very close and very confident at the front. Here comes number 34 of Pedro Acosta, making some good ground on the Cuna de Campeones machine.
And here comes Perez again.
Here comes Rodriguez. He's up the inside. Around the outside goes Barry Bowters. So Bowters is going to lead the race in his first ever weekend in the European Talent Cup. That's incredibly good from the Belgian rider, I should say. Into the left hand we go. It's getting very close, far behind as well as they went into turn 4. Hopefully they all made it through. I had to close my eyes momentarily there because that got a bit too close for comfort, did it not? Bit wide there for Bowters. That's going to allow Rodriguez and Perez back through. Here comes Gonzalez. He's in 4th place. Now he's managed to leapfrog Kawakami. That's more than enough as Jesperson runs it into the car park here in Valencia. He's going to need a ticket to get back in from there, and he's lost all of that hard work that he managed to do.
It's great to see Barry, and a new rider coming up as a wild card in this race in Valencia, and already leading at the front of the race.
13 years of age he is. His teammate Andres Perez isn't much older, and they're going absolutely hammer and tongue. They're going to be signing a masterstroke if this is how Barry Bowters will be performing next year, and given how he's done so far this weekend. Gonzalez is really looking very, very racy indeed. Will he manage to find a way up the inside? We go hard on the brakes in just a couple of moments' time. The front suspension is compressed to the maximum. And into turn number 14, Gonzalez just has to hold it ever so slightly at the moment, with Acosta close behind as well.
And then Kawakami's not too far back. He's just a couple positions behind, Manuel Gonzales. So it doesn't mean he's out of potential of winning this championship.
Here comes Bowters. He's into the lead of the race at turn number 1. Rodriguez into 2nd. Perez into 3rd place. Kawakami is not too far behind. We can see him ducking and weaving as here comes Acosta up the inside of Gonzalez. He's going to get 2 in 1 corner. Yes, he is. Brilliant stuff from Pedro Acosta. He started on the outside of the third row of the grid, and he's up in and amongst the top 5 here in this race. Incredible stuff with 9 laps now remaining, but it's Rodriguez who leads the way at the moment. Brilliant stuff, and some great racing going on further down, Daco, as well. Some fantastic stuff.
Well, this is the great, this is the class where most fights and great racing happens, and that's why people enjoy it the most, and fans love watching these kind of races.
Indeed we do. Into the left-hander of turn number 9, getting a bit too close for comfort there, as it looks like Perez was gotten the better of it by Acosta, as
Kawakami's dropping back a bit,
and he's run wide as well at turn number 11. That's going to allow him to fall into the clutches of the number 44 of Adrian Fernandez. By the looks of things, it was just going past, so some ground to make up there as we swing it into the left-hander. Rodriguez as well. Rodriguez and Bautas, this is incredible. We haven't seen them so far this year. Bautas, of course, comes from a background in the RMFE CV, so he's used to close quarters racing on board the pre-Moto3 machines that he's been riding.
But it just shows the talent he's got. He comes here first races and he's already battling for this podium.
Incredible stuff, and Rodriguez likewise as well. And Acosta, we haven't seen Acosta in the championship. He goes to the outside into turn 1. Here comes Perez. Are they all going to make it through? That's very close indeed. They're running wide, they're running off track. Track limits, lads, you're going to have to be a bit careful of that, as Jamie Davies also runs it a bit hot. Speaking of running it a bit hot, Acosta. Oh, this is incredible stuff. Who's gone wide there? Is that one of the Blue Mac HMA bikes? Looks like it could be. Can't quite see who that is. Something's gone wrong. Technical problem there is that. I'm just trying to see from the number on 26. Their bike. 26 is Miguel Parra. So Miguel Parra's season comes to a premature end, unfortunately. Disappointing way for it to go with the Honda at some point.
Not happy. No,
he's kicking the dust. Better than biting the dust, though. Into the left-handed kick we go, getting close indeed. Here we go with Barry Bautas coming under pressure from Acosta from behind, as well as they try and challenge and defend for the lead. It's so interesting to see this as well, because they're attacking, they're defending.
Oh yeah, this
all at once.
Yeah, you could have about here's another pass from Perez, but it's great this class because you can see about 3 or 4 passes in one corner between 4 or 5 guys, and no, that's what you say. The bikes are so small and don't have so much power, so you can do it. The bike permits you to do it, and that's what's so unique about this class.
Brilliant stuff from all involved. Andreas Perez there in 3rd place. He'll be on the Moto3 grid next year. They're running it a bit wide.
Needs to be careful because if you do it more than 1 or 2 times, they'll start penalizing you.
Brilliant start also, we should say, from Jamie Davies, the British rider. Started way down in 21st on the grid and is up into 13th position as Acosta hits the front at turn number 1. Nice bit of a move there from him. Oh, it's getting very close though into turn number 2, because he's shuffled out Bautas, and Bautas and Perez are going to get very close indeed. I imagine the team principal for the Realia Winter Academy.
And the thing is, a lot of riders here haven't been or on the podium or on the first place finish, so there's a lot of hungry little kids here that want to win this race.
Well, the top 3 haven't even been in a European Talent Cup race before, and they are leading the way. This is absolutely unprecedented here in Valencia. I'm sure that will change before the end of the race. You can pretty much guarantee that it will, but nonetheless, it is.
Look at that. Is that a group of like 12?
Something along the lines of that. I'm just trying to count out who's at the back of the grid and see where we are on the timing screen. We go into the left-hander, and who is going to be leading the way? Well, it's still, at the moment, the number 34 of Acosta, but Rodriguez is going to challenge the lead away. Here we go as Peter Pevalainen gets challenged. Sorry, apologies. Adrian Fernandez gets challenged.
Kawakami goes underneath him.
Gonzalez has been shuffled back a little bit in this group, haven't they? As well as Kawakami. At the moment, it won't affect the championship too much, but nonetheless, they've just been shuffled back a little bit. They've got more ground to make up. I'm sure they've got the pace to do so. We know they do, because they've been running up and amongst the front. Oh, it's going to be a Realia Vincia sandwich with Rodriguez in the middle, and he gets shuffled down to 3rd place in the space of a corner. Nice bit of overtaking and good teamwork there from both riders.
Oh, look at the slipstream. You can just see that it just helps so much in this class, and you'll see 3 or 4 guys just literally come from like 6th or 7th straight into 2nd or 1st.
Kawasaki goes up from about 7th into 2nd place. That's brilliant stuff there from Kawasaki. Andres Perez runs it out a bit wide, and he's lost a bit of ground, but shouldn't take him too long as Acosta darts it up the inside of Fernandez, gets it done and dusted. Nicely done there from Acosta. Brilliant racing throughout the course of the field, and a brilliant group of riders as well, as Bowters now comes under pressure from Kawasaki. This is exactly what Kawasaki needs to do. He needs to be battling for the win, yes, but also he needs Gonzalez to not finish in the points.
Yes, but no matter what, he can't, you know, he can't really decide on that. He just needs to focus on himself and do what he needs to do, which is basically win this race.
Exactly right. Well, Rodriguez is running a good race as well, as here comes Acosta once more onto the rostrum. Here comes Kawasaki into the lead of the race as well. So the Brazilian rider hits the front, and he is into the lead of the race. And here's how the championship sits. 17 points. It would actually be Perez into 2nd place at this point in the championship, because they would be tied on points, and it would be Perez who's had better results over the course of the season, therefore meaning that he would manage to leapfrog Kawasaki. So that would be a bit of insult to injury if it stayed like that.
And I mean, I forgot to explain to you guys, you know, I saw Ricky Carduce on the podium, and the reason why he had to stop is because of what I said of his shoulder. He said that always between lap 8 or 9, his shoulder would come out halfway out, and it says it's the worst sensation ever.
I can well imagine. Over the timeline we go, it's getting a bit cramped out of the final corner. Everybody managed to hold it on very nicely, which is the main thing. They didn't manage to lose too much time. However, there were still some, I'm sure, pretty riled faces under those crash helmets. 5 laps left here in Valencia. Track limits being used to the extreme. Here comes Rodriguez up the inside once again. Bowters having to relinquish. Oh, unfortunate there for the number 34. Acosta, his good run comes to an end. It was a brilliant race for the Spaniard, and unfortunately he ends up sliding down the road, a simple front end washout, and he is going to be either out of the race or out of contention for the points. I think he's too short to push it back.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a problem there for Acosta. A shame for him, but nonetheless, that's the way it goes in bike racing. He'll learn for next time.
Yes, 100%.
So it's Rodriguez with the advantage at the moment, followed by Bowters. Make that Bowters followed by Rodriguez if he gets the move done into the corner. No, he doesn't. So still Rodriguez at the moment, who holds on to the lead of the race. Into the left-handed kink we go, then into the right. It's a vicious corner, that left-handed kink, especially as you go into the right. Look at that. That's incredible. Is that Andres Perez making some good moves? I think it must be.
Yeah, I think he went underneath 2 of them in that corner, and that's not an easy corner to go underneath.
Up the inside of Toledo and Kawasaki. Brilliant stuff from Perez. He wants the final race win of the season. Don't forget, just 1 European Talent Cup race here for these guys. So it all counts. It's all glory. Glory takes all in the final corner. Once again, those track limits being used. They're going to be under the wrath of race direction before too long. Over the timing line we go on lap 7 out of 11. And Rodriguez from Bowters, from Perez, from Kawasaki, from Toledo, from Fernandez. How long's that going to change, though? Well, it's going to change pretty rapidly, as Perez is up the inside and into 2nd place, with Bowters leading the way on board that Realia Vintia Honda. Incredibly close racing between all of these guys.
Great racing by Barry. Some great. Barry Bowters is really riding really well, and it just shows that there's some good talent out here, and you just need to bring them over here and find them.
Very impressed also with Simon Jesperson. He's right onto the back of Gonzalez as well. He's really made some good ground after running wide a few laps ago, which is good to see. So here we go with Perez trying his way up the inside of Bowters into the left-hander. Gets the move done and dusted. Teammate versus teammate. A very exciting time. Let's not forget, of course, in the CEV next year, of course, we've got some new faces coming in. We've got the Onchu twins who have signed with Red Bull KTM IO, who will be making their debut in the FIM CEV Repsol. Well, let's say making their debut in Moto3 in the FIM CEV Repsol. They're very excited to see how the Onchu twins get on. Dennis, of course, the Asia Talent Cup champion of 2017. Can also finishing with a very good season. The Realia Vintia Academy team watching on. Both riders battling it out. They'll be very happy if the race finishes right about now.
Perfect team weekend.
Exactly right. Well, it could be a bit of a shock performance if Bowters does manage to clinch the checkered flag, because he'll be the first rider, aside from, of course, the first victor of the first race in Albacete, to claim the victory on their debut.
Not bad. And Kawasaki is still in the top 5, and I think he is anyway. Yeah, now he's in 6th. He keeps on shuffling so many times you don't know who is where.
He's just gone ahead of Gonzalez as well, as Joan Uvina runs it a bit wide, as does Jamie Davies, who's getting a bit hot under the collar, shall we say. Race direction, rider 7, 5-second penalty. That is Barry Bouters, and that is going to be for exceeding track limits. We said race direction will come down on them like a ton of bricks, and Barry Bouters suffers a 5-second penalty. And where is 5 seconds on from that? It's right down the order. It's going to be outside of the top 10 of this race.
Oh yeah, he's out in top 16.
That's a big shame there for Barry Bouters. He's ridden faultlessly so far this weekend. And the thing is, he won't know. He won't have a clue.
No, and there he goes. He does it again.
Yeah, they're...
it's unfortunate.
Obviously, the other championships he's used to racing, and probably not as strict on corner limits as they are here in the CEV Repsol.
I'd probably prefer a fine.
Probably would too. Although, being 13 years old, I'm not sure how he'd be able to pay for it.
Well, just win the race and say, hey, Mom and Pops, please, can you play this fine?
It's the pocket money.
I'll give you the trophy.
Out of 10-11 we go. Perez from Rodriguez in 3rd place. Some good racing going on up and down the field, and really impressed as well, as I said earlier on, with Jamie Davies. He's made some good ground after what was, by his own admission, a bit of a poor qualifying. I was really hoping to do a little bit better than that, but we're coming on to the penultimate lap now. We're going to start the penultimate lap, as we say. It is Gonzalez who is currently going to be the European Talent Cup champion. It's been a bit of a quiet race for him, but that's fine. He doesn't need to do anything too drastic or too severe. He just has to finish the race and finish on board that bike, and he will be crowned the champion. 19 points, you can see the advantage over Kawasaki. So if Kawasaki finishes where he is, he'll get ahead of Perez in the standings. If Perez finishes in 2nd place, that will be turned on its head as well. So out of turn number 2 we go. Then into the right-hander of turn 4. Adrian Fernandez is really closing up. This is such an important group, such a close-knit group of riders, all battling in and amongst the mix. Some serious skill levels going on throughout the field. And let's not forget, of course, these guys are between 12 and 16, 17, 18 years of age.
Yeah, super young. And it's a great way to get some good practice, and especially for passing in that for the kids who want to go up to Moto3 the next year. And because in Moto3 the next year, you know, the passes are going to be more aggressive. The kids are older, so it's a great way of learning.
Somebody was out well wide there. Didn't quite catch who that was. Nonetheless, they were just getting out of the way. You can see somebody on the right-hand side of your picture there just cheering on one of the riders.
Not quite sure if the rider can see him.
Well, I'd imagine probably not, given how quick they're going. Mind you, they're not so quick on these bikes, but nonetheless, I suppose it's the thought that counts, if nothing else.
Yes, 100%.
So into the final corner we go, then getting ready to come over the line, and Barry Bouters once again, and I don't know if he thinks the green is part of the track, but he's exceeding track limits. He's going to be vamos at the moment to get the lead of the race. But Victor Rodriguez and Perez and Toledo coming into the mix. Toledo's really good at this as well. He's great at coming good right at the very end of the race. Race direction, rider 80, a 5-second penalty. That's Victor Alonso from the Rins 42 team. He's actually not in the battle for the lead, so it's not too much of an effect on him, but it will affect his final result. Into the left hand we go. It's Rodriguez who leads the way from Toledo. Here comes Bouters up the inside of Rodriguez. Brilliant stuff from the Belgian rider. It's not going to count for position. It's a shame for him, but nonetheless,
unless he wins the race by 5 seconds.
Well, he's going to have a hard task to do that unless everybody else in behind him falls off. Into the left-hander we go, onto the back straight. Who is going to lead the way at the end of this one? Rodriguez goes defensive.
Oh, Jesperson's not bad. 3rd place, 4th place actually.
Here we go, up the inside. And gets it done and dusted is Bouters. Toledo just holds on to third position at the moment. The top three doing a brilliant job. This is how the championship will stand. Kawasaki looks set, if it finishes as it is, to lose second place in the championship. But if Perez wins, he'll lose all of the positions in the championship. Here comes Rodriguez up the inside, but does manage to make it stick, I apologise, against Bautas. Into the right-hander we go. Then flick it left. 2 corners remaining here in the European Talent Cup. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be Gonzalez's championship if he finishes on the bike. But who is going to get the race win? 3 wide into the final corner. Here comes Toledo. He's up the inside. This is incredible stuff here in the European Talent Cup. They're running out wide. They're all over the place. And here comes Alex Toledo over the line to take his second win of the 2017 season. Second place goes the way of Victor Alonso. Third, Andreas Perez. Fourth, Barry Bautas. Fifth, Adrian Fernandez. Sixth, Gonzalez. Seventh, Jesperson.
Which means Gonzalez is
the champion, absolutely. And Manuel Gonzales then is crowned the 2017 European Talent Cup champion, the inaugural champion. A brilliant win for Alex Toledo. Incredible stuff. A second win of the day for the Cuna de Campeones team as well. They'll be thrilled with that result. The locally run Valencian team. But hats off, though, to the man who finished in second place, Victor Rodriguez, his first ever appearance in the European Talent Cup. And surely not the last. And doing some end-of-season burnouts as well. And who could blame him? Brilliant stuff from all involved. Congratulations to Manuel Gonzales as well, the 2017 European Talent Cup champion. Here he is. Well, he is going to be absolutely delighted, and quite understandably so. He's got his entourage there. He's got the team ready to celebrate with him. Fantastic stuff from the Spanish rider. Let's not forget that Gonzales, he is just 18 years of age, and he has become the FIM CEV Repsol European Talent Cup champion of 2017. I'd like to apologise, by the way, for my voice getting very squeaky towards the end of that.
No worries. And I think he was just playing a bit of PlayStation there.
Yeah?
On the floor. I'm not quite sure what that was about.
It's probably some kind of tradition he's got going on or something like that. Great for Andreas Perez as well. The Spanish rider finishes his season with a rostrum. Brilliant stuff from all involved. They've got the t-shirts ready and made. Just handy because it will cover some of the scuff marks on the leathers. Absolutely stunning season from
marks of a warrior.
Exactly. Well, let's not forget that he crashed out, of course, here back when we were here in July. And not repeating the same feat here today, which is all too good to see. Just brilliant stuff.
Just playing, or
he's just going to pop his helmet back on and
play some MotoGP 2018?
Yeah, why not? Going to give it a good old go, a bit of PlayStation, and see if he's going to be the eSport World Champion of next year or something. We could imagine that. Could you imagine a European Talent Cup and an eSport Champion of 2017? It'd be quite the feat, wouldn't it? Well, I want to say they'll be spraying some champagne, but they won't be doing that. Because,
because don't forget, they're like 12 years old.
Exactly.
We keep forgetting.
He's slightly too young. He's going to be riding around with a Spanish flag. That looks pretty uncomfortable to be putting that in the back of your leather.
Use that as a back scratcher.
But nonetheless, proud of his heritage. So a new schedule from Race Directions, you can see. Pit lane will open at 13:55 local time, so just under 15 minutes time. Moto3 Race 2 will start at 2:10 local time, so not too much longer left to wait. But the European Talent Cup champion, Manuel Gonzales, a brilliant season from the Spanish rider. What a way to do it. Not quite the race victory, not quite even the finish I'm sure he will have wanted. A top 5 nonetheless is a good way to conclude the season, but he will have wanted a little bit more than that. Oh dearie me, as Alex Toledo has dropped the bike in Parc Fermé as well. Well, if you're going to have a crash, you might as well have it at the end of the race. I'd love to see an action replay of that one. Good stuff from Alex Toledo. Fantastic race victory, Cuna de Campeones. The team will be very happy with their result after what happened in Moto3, what happened, of course, just now in the European Talent Cup. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Here, though, is your champion of 2017, the inaugural European Talent Cup champion. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Manuel Gonzales. He's ridden absolutely fantastic season. Not quite perfect, a few dots on the copybook here and there, but nonetheless, in such a competitive field on identical motorcycles, let's not forget, it just makes it ever more impressive. Of course, we'll have the champion podium as well. So, into Parc Fermé we go. And the Hal-Courier Racing team all ready with their T-shirts on. They look very, very happy indeed, don't they? So final results for the European Talent Cup, the final race of the 2017 season. It is Alex Toledo who takes the victory from the debutant Victor Rodriguez. Andres Perez in third, Adrian Fernandez in fourth, Manuel Gonzalez is your champion, he finished fifth. Then Jespersen in sixth, Pietro Pevalainen, a quiet race for him in seventh. Eighth is Michael Kawakami. I didn't even realise, I apologise as well wholeheartedly to Max Cook in his debut race into ninth position after qualifying 16th on the grid. Incredible stuff there from the Briton. Andrej Velstatek, a good top 10 finish for the Czech rider to finish. Vincent Falcone in 11th. Jamie William Davis in 12th place in the FAL 55 racing team. Xavier Artigas, Barry Baltus with that penalty. Unfortunately, 5 seconds added to his race time in 14th place. Matthew Gregorio 15th. Ike Garcia 16th. Francisco Gomez 17th, Victor Alonso likewise with a 5-second penalty in 17th place. Away from the lights, it was Gomez then who led the way initially. Baltus though made a very good start, likewise Simon Jespersen as we headed in towards the first corner for the first time of asking. The first lap was completed and all seemed well. There was a big crash though, however, for Francisco Gomez at the final corner. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad for him. Not too much damage done, and he managed to get out in the race for the second time. However, there was a big high side as well, which is what caused the red flag. Alex Dier, unfortunately, ended up running back to his bike and then being stretched away. We didn't quite see what happened there after the incident. As I said, any information, we will keep you as up to date as we can. The race for them was red flagged and restarted with an 11-lap race distance and into the first corner. There was drama, of course. Lots of overtakes, lots of action as Francisco Gomez got back out in the race following his damaged bike being hastily repaired. A duel for the lead, or a battle for the lead, involving several riders then occurred with the likes of Pietro Pevalainen in amongst the mix. Somebody who was disappointed was Miguel Parra. He unfortunately failed to finish that race. Disappointing way to conclude what has been an otherwise positive 2017 campaign. Meanwhile, the final corner, Barry Baltus, he exceeded track limits. He was awarded a 5-second time penalty as Pedro Acosta went down the road. Meanwhile, into the right-hander we go. Some more positions changing. Lots and lots of overtakes over the course of the race. Over the timeline once again, Michael Kawakami and Simon Jespersen and Manuel Gonzalez doing battle. Into the final corner though, it was 3 wide for the lead of the race on the final lap. It was Toledo with the inside line. On the outside, it was the number 19 of Rodriguez, and then saw the drag to the line with Toledo taking another victory in the 2017 season. A brilliant result for him, a brilliant result for the Cuna de Campeones team. Great result also for Rodriguez and Andres Perez. Delight on the faces of all involved. Delight as well for Manuel Gonzalez, your champion, playing a bit of PlayStation there as well. So he's won the race, he's played the game, he's done it very nicely as well. A great way to do things. And there we are, he's getting hoiked up and down by his team as well. That'll make for some good photos. Hope they don't drop him, lads, because that could prove to be a bit disastrous. So we just wait for them to finish Parc Fermé. They'll run up onto the podium now. The top 3 at least will. Andres Perez in 3rd place, Victor Rodriguez in 2nd, and then the race winner of Alex Toledo. Brilliant stuff from all involved. A great race, a great way to end the European Talent Cup season. There's one more race to come, of course. Don't forget Moto3 race number 2. As Cuna de Campeones presented with their 2nd Constructors' Trophy of the day. Not a bad way to go home to their base with a bit of silverware. The 3rd place finisher, Andres Perez. Stunning stuff from him. Always has a big smile on his face as well. And the man who finished in 2nd, Victor Rodriguez, in his debut race in the European Talent Cup. More of the same, please, he'll be saying, I'm sure, before too long. And the race winner, Alex Toledo. Brilliant stuff from the number 55. A superb race for him, as the 16-year-old celebrates in style from Tarragona in Spain. and presented with a petrol check as well. So some free wheels of petrol for his wagon. Nicely done. And now we wait then for the Spanish national anthem. Alex Toledo, the race winner for the final European Talent Cup race of the 2017 season. Excuse me. Absolutely incredible stuff. And the Casera is sprayed over the teams and fans watching on. And now they can all look at winding down. Well, I say winding down, some of them are testing here tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with regards to that. But nonetheless, a brilliant way to end the 2017 season. So some championship standings then for you before we bring you the championship podium. Manuel Gonzalez then is officially the 2017 European Talent Cup champion. 150 points to Alex Toledo's 128. Michael Kawasaki manages to get up into third place, or drops down to third place, I should say, after being in second. Andreas Perez finishes in fourth. Simon Jesperson fifth. Alejandro Diez sixth. Miguel Parra seventh. Francisco Gomez eighth. And Will Margar in ninth. Joe Uvenia, who's been pretty prominent in this season, was 10th. Pietu Pepperline in 11th. Andres Vostate 12th. Matthew Gregorio 13th. Top Brit was Jamie Davies in 14th. Ike Garcia 15th. Vincent Falcone in 16th, and so on and so forth as we go further down the order. And that then is your championship podium. That's how it goes. Brilliant stuff. Manuel Gonzalez, Alex Toledo, and then the man who finished in third place of Michael Kawasaki. He'll be very pleased with that, I'm sure. Kawasaki, a bit disappointed to not take the title, but it was always going to be a tall order going into this round. Second place of Toledo is presented, and then the champion, the 2017 European Talent Cup champion of Manuel Gonzalez. Brilliant season for the How Courier Racing team. Brilliant year.
Ahí está ese aplauso.
You can hear the crowd chanting, can't you? Well, it's been an exceptional season for Manuel Gonzalez, a brilliant year. And I'm sure whatever he does in 2018, as soon as we know, we'll be letting you know, I'm sure. Let's have a look, though, in a few moments' time, back at what has been an incredible year for the rider from Tarragona. I'm sorry, from Madrid, I should say. The fans are still watching on here at the circuit pit lane, as we see. You can see at the bottom of your screen to open at 13:55 local time.
Alex,
race two.
Great race there, and good battles at the end. You must be happy with this last win in Valencia.
Well, I start a little bit with problems, but because at the first part of the race I started in the 15 position, and this is it was a little bit penalty for the race, but I start to advance the other riders, and at the final I can win with a good battle with my adversaries. And thank you to all the team, my sponsors, and all my family.
Thank you. Now, en español, por favor.
Bueno, la verdad es que ha sido una carrera muy luchada. Me ha penalizado un poco el salir desde la 15 posición. Y bueno, la verdad es que he tenido una bonita batalla con mis rivales y al final he podido ganar y darle las gracias a mi equipo, a Cuna de Campeones, a todos mis sponsors y a toda mi familia.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Brilliant stuff from Alex Toledo. We'll now hear from the European Talent Cup champion, I believe, in just a few moments' time as well.
Well, 2017 European Talent Cup champion. You must be happy with this.
Yes, it was a very nice year with a lot of battles and overtakes in each race. I have to say thanks to all the people who support me, who help me, the team, my father. It was a very nice year.
Ahora en español, por favor.
Ha sido un año muy increíble porque ha habido muchas carreras muy luchadas, me he divertido mucho adelantando, ha sido un año muy loco, pero al final, bueno, hemos conseguido terminar muy bien y quiero decir las gracias al equipo y a toda la gente que me ayuda porque siempre están ahí dando el máximo por mí.
Gracias.